All right, guys, I don't know the last time I was this excited to throw a disc. Literally, I was so excited when I opened these up the other day, waiting for a nice day. Today it is beautiful, sunny, and no wind. We have the new OTB Open / Champions Cup MVP drops. I've got a couple of them that I'm gonna review for you. Today we're looking at the Hex, and man, I've never wanted a disc to make my bag so bad. Look at this thing. This is the Particle Glow Proton Hex. This one is beautiful. It's purple. It has that amazing stamp. We have that particle glow glimmer all around the flight plate, the white rim. This is such a pretty disc. I want it to fly well so bad. I've been throwing the glow hexes. I've tried out a neutron hex, and I know with the last year's drop, I think they had a hex that was a proton hex, but they weren't max weight. And this one right here says 177. I haven't actually weighed it on my scale, but this is basically an actual max weight hex as opposed to the ones they had last year, which I think they only got up to like 175 or 176. Kind of splitting hairs, but I really like my mid-ranges to be up to that like 178 to 180 range. But yeah, we're gonna throw this thing around a little bit. Absolutely gorgeous, feels really good. A decent stiffness, like similar stiffness and feel to the Glow. I've got an Eclipse 2.0 that's been in my bag for a little bit, pretty similar to how it was out of the box. And then we have kind of a beat up neutron hex that's pretty flat. We're gonna do a couple of comparisons, but more so just kind of throw around this new one and see how it flies. I want it to make the bag so bad if it wasn't already obvious, but we have hole one here at Riverton from the Blues, 320 feet, kind of just a dead straight, get it under the tree limbs there, get it up to the basket, pretty much the perfect distance for throwing the hex on. Not much of a warm-up, so we'll get started with the other two hexes, kind of feel where we're at, and then see how it flies compared to them. All right, pulled that a little right, but a good flight, fades out at the end, about pin high, just off to the right there. Let's try and get this second one a little bit closer. So that was the neutron one. This is the Eclipse 2.0. We'll try and get a flip up right down the middle. Much better. Just got to avoid that last tree. Oh, was looking pretty good. Got a little bit of turn. Wind's pushing us to the right. Just a little bit. Not a lot of wind, but a little bit. All right, now that we're warmed up, Particle Glow, Proton. Man, I can't stop looking at this thing. I want it to go in the bag so bad. Like, it just looks so good and feels so good. Oh, it's stable. Don't go in the water. Okay, we're good. That was pretty stable. I definitely tried not to push him right like the other two, but that had some stability to it. Not bad. Yeah, this thing definitely finished out quite a bit off to the left. I've always noticed that whenever I get a new Glow hex, they've always been pretty overstable out of the box. So it seems like this is pretty similar to that Glow hex stability. If anything, I didn't really give it a ton of power, but it felt like it was even more stable than that. Hopefully it beats in to a nice straight flying hex, but it almost flies kind of like the Matrix, which I just picked up recently. Let's see if we can jam a little step putt to start our day. Oh, just barely low. Good bid. So it seems like this thing is pretty stable, as we just saw. I want to give it a little bit more juice and see if we get any turn out of it, or if it is just kind of stable. Like I said, the Eclipse hexes are pretty stable and they kind of beat into a pretty good spot, but this feels like it's pretty solidly kind of straight to stable. I'm hoping this kind of can get really beat into that really, really nice spot that a hex can, and maybe it makes the bag. I feel like already off of just one throw, probably doesn't make the bag because it's too close to my Matrix right now, but I want to get one more hole in where I can get some more comparisons between these, and then we'll just throw the new hex on all these shots. But here we've got a little over 300 feet, kind of a gap hit. See, with these other two, I'm gonna be able to hit it on hyzer and let it pop up. I think with this one, the new one, I'm gonna have to kind of hit it flat and let it fade out at the end. But this will give us a little bit more comparison, a little bit more of a warm up. So yeah, flips up really nicely. Oh, what? That was a crazy branch. Try it again. So yeah, we can, I mean, it might not be like super obvious once they're getting further away from the camera, but it's pretty obvious to me right now. Like, the more beat up older ones are definitely flipping up and pushing to the right ever so slightly, even when put on hyzer, and even probably a little bit nose up since this is a little uphill. But the new Particle Glow one, the Proton one, is not really pushing that right side quite as much. There we go. See, stands up, and then finishes back left. That's probably pretty close to under the basket. And it's something I didn't notice initially, but now I'm kind of feeling it. This definitely is a bit more like flimsy or flexible. Not necessarily a bad thing, but when I was holding the other two hexes, they kind of felt a bit more stiff. This I can kind of feel when I grab the flight plate, it just kind of wants to move around in my fingers a little bit while I'm stepping up to throw. So something to think about. Threw that really high, so probably not a good throw. It got a little bit of turn, I think. It started to kind of flip up. It was pretty nose up, but it does just kind of want to push and finish out and fade. Let's get out of the woods. We'll throw it on a bunch of other holes and really get a feel for it. I actually wasn't gonna really putt this at all just because I wanted to get onto some next holes, but this actually got up pretty far. I thought it was gonna be way back there, but we kind of have a C2 look. Pinched off over here a little bit, but might as well give it a little bit of a bid. A little right to left wind, just let it swing in. Oh my God, that was so good. I'm so glad I putt that. Yeah, and this is like the opposite end of the spectrum with this Glow 1. Just a little low, didn't quite get all the way there, but much rather have this putt than the super long one pinched off. Oh, no way. All right, I wasn't actually gonna play this hole, but I got an idea. I'm gonna do something I don't normally do. I'm gonna try and throw the hex on a forehand. This feels pretty similar in stability to my Matrix right out the box. And I wonder if I can kind of throw it on a flip up forehand that pushes through that gap and fades back towards the basket. This is basically a forehand hole, and I think it's around 300 feet. Hex should have the glide to kind of get there. So I want to see if I can throw this on a forehand. I don't normally throw the hex on a forehand, especially not off the tee, but I feel like this could really do some work here. So let's give it a try. If it's bad, it's bad, but it's worth trying. Okay. I don't know why I threw that like I was throwing a Firebird. Let me try that again. There you go. Still a bad throw, but it flipped up. I think probably still too flippy for a forehand. I think the Matrix would have not flipped up like that. But that was pretty good. Like, once I threw it like I was throwing a hex on a forehand, it's pretty solid. It came out with like a little bit of wobble, but it pushed straight. I probably won't throw it on a forehand like ever, but there you go. There's a forehand for you. Okay, we have a pretty straight, wide open shot here. Still a little bit uphill. Kind of tired of throwing uphill, but it's not as bad as the first two where we had to throw uphill. And a little bit of right to left wind. Should be pretty easy. I think it's around 300. Don't feel like ranging it or checking, but I think I'm about right. Should be pretty easy, and we can actually get an idea of how this thing flies. I'm just gonna throw it on kind of a stock release, assuming it's gonna fade out a little bit, and I'll kind of aim a little bit right with this wind as well. Kind of aiming at those little trees off to the right of the basket. Oh, that's beautiful. Okay. Maybe I was babying it a little bit, because now that we're out in the open, I threw that with like some actual power, not really worried about hitting anything. I think it actually flew a lot straighter, had a little bit of turn to it. I expected it to dump out a little more, but it really didn't. And I think that forehand kind of made me realize, like, oh, you know, if you just throw this thing, like, it'll go. Okay, maybe it's not as stable as I thought. I don't even need the putters, dude. I threw this thing perfect. That's so good. I thought I was gonna have like a 15-footer. This is wonderful. Starting to grow on me a little more. I really liked it at the start. Then it felt a little stable. Now it's starting to be like, oh, you know what? Maybe this is one of those discs that just like beats up really fast. Like, it's kind of stable out the box, but you get a couple throws in, a couple rounds in, then it starts beating up. I'm liking it more. Okay, we got one hole that I put in the mix here to see if we can really throw this thing far. I believe, I can't remember what disc it was, but I was reviewing a putter and I was throwing it on this hole. Couldn't quite get it there. Hex should be able to do it. This is, I think, around 360, so like pretty far. I probably wouldn't throw the hex on this hole. Maybe I would. There's a little bit of a tailwind, so maybe it'd be good for the hex. I should be able to get it there. We'll see. I'm gonna give myself one chance. If I can't do it, I can't do it. I'm not throwing a bunch of extra shots. The one thing to keep in mind is this course has different sets of tee pads. It has the main blue tees, which are like nice, solid turf. Then it has some turf that like is old I think like soccer or football field turf that they got for free and kind of put in here. And then they have this stuff, which is on a lot of the white tees. And it's this like weird synthetic grass that's like kind of long, but it's like flimsy. So it just kind of gets matted down and it gets really slippery. I don't really know like what the purpose of this kind of turf is, but it certainly is not good for disc golf. So anytime I'm playing on one of these tee pads, it's kind of hard to give it power because it's just, I don't know, just like feels weird to plan in. But anyway, enough excuses. We'll try and just throw this thing out there and get it there. 360, what the heck? Should be able to do it. Let's try. A little high, but not bad. Fading out. I think I threw it too high. Oh, we're a little short. We're like 30 feet, 40 feet short. I think part of the reason I don't really like throwing a hex on this hole is this bush right here kind of just gets like right in the line I want to throw. And so I end up throwing a little nose up like I did. You know, I kind of want to do like a pushing hyzer that flips up a little bit, like right into where this bush is. And it's just going to clip those branches. So I end up throwing it a little high to compensate, and you get what you get. Well, I'd say we're just outside the circle, maybe 35, 40 feet here. We'll go for another step putt. We had a chance earlier. Basket's leaning towards us on this hole, so it should be easy to make it in if I get it snuck above the rim. Let's go. Second try on a step putt. This time we can make it. Oh, I still left it low. Come on. Okay, jumping ahead a bunch of holes here to hole 10. Sorry if you hear noise in the background. There's a giant lawnmower over there making a bunch of noise. But here we got a little bit of a turnover shot down this little gap. Again, probably in that 300-foot range. I don't think I'm going to throw forehand here because that did not go well last time, but I want to see if I can get this thing on a little bit of like slow panning turn. And this time we got a low ceiling. We're not throwing uphill, we're throwing flat, so we shouldn't have to throw it nose up. We can just kind of get it on a little bit of anhyzer. We'll see if we can do that. First couple of throws, I probably would have told you it might have been hard. Now, starting to get a better feel for it. I think a pretty good chance we can get a nice little slow panning turn here. And we even have a helping headwind. Oh, great. Lawnmower over there, plane going over my head. It's like we don't have enough noises. I need like a crying baby over here on the bench. Oh, that held that angle really nice. I gave it too much even, but it was really good. It held into the headwind. It didn't like fight all the way out. I wouldn't say fight all the way. I didn't like super turn over and like cut roll. It just kind of held the turn. I think you know, once it gets beat up a little more, you can get that to happen a bit more naturally, but it also didn't like fight out like it was too overstable. I kind of like that. Maybe we have a putt. Okay, a little bit turned over, but not bad at all. Got to about circle's edge. I like that. I think it had a good turn. I think once this thing can start to get a little bit more beat in, it'll get that nice mellow turn you kind of expect out of a hex when you can give it a little bit of a flat release. But it held it nice. Why was that so low? Do with the hex. Yeah, see, that's all you had to do. It's a little early. I think my hands are just a whittle dry. Not warm enough yet. Okay, we got another actually kind of long hole here. I think this is also about 360. This time we have the airspace to actually throw it at the height we want. And we even want to get a little low towards the end there because we have sort of a low ceiling. We can't go kind of right at it because we have the stuff on the right in our way. So you kind of want, again, like we just threw, a bit of a panning left to right shot. I parked this hole with a putter, so should be able to get there with a hex. We'll see what we can do. Got to keep it low, got to keep it pushing left to right. It's going to be maybe a little bit harder because I can't get the natural turn by throwing it on hyzer and letting it flip and turn. But we could try and throw a little flat and get it to go without pulling it into the stuff on the right, without keeping it too high. Kind of a bit of a test here, but I think it's certainly doable. Oh my God, it was perfect. It was literally perfect. It was like 2 inches too high. Oh my goodness. I'm convinced though, that was pretty good. Like it held it, it went. I just threw it like just barely too high. It's really tough to get a mid-range there without hitting anything. The one time I did park it with a putter, I got extraordinarily lucky. So that was pretty good. I wish we got the full flight out of it, but I got one more hole where we're definitely gonna get a full flight out of the disc. So we'll do a little upshot, finish the hole out, and then we'll do that one more hole. Yeah, you can kind of see just how low these branches really are. I can get it all in one frame. So you just kind of hit them and fell down just a little bit lower. I mean, that was basically an ace run. We give this a long long putt here. This is like maximum step putt range for me. Anything longer than this and I'm pretty much laying up. But I think this could go in if I give it the right angle and the right height. Oh, okay, that's way longer than it looks. Never mind. I told you we were gonna see an actual full flight of this disc. Here you got it. We're playing 18 from the reds. This tee pad is all but consumed by grass at this point. I mean, it's honestly like 70% grass. You can barely even see any red below it, but we're still gonna use it. We've got a little bit of turf on the end here. Some nice matted down turf. Honestly, not terrible traction. I've had concrete tee pads with a light drizzle that is about 10 times worse traction than this essentially grass tee pad. So wanna get a full flight. I'm gonna throw it at like ballpark 80-ish% power. I kind of want to see how far it goes. We're going to check U-disc, see how far it went, and we'll try and birdie this with just a hex. Got a little bit of a headwind, kind of left to right, so it should be a pretty good test here. Get it to hold up in the headwind, left to right a little bit, see how far it goes. I think this would be a pretty good, just kind of open field, like how far this thing actually flies. And we all know the hex flies pretty far, but I feel like this premium plastic holds up really nice and flies really good. And we haven't really got like a full wide open shot here. Anytime we have like an open shot, kind of had some stuff in our way. All we've got is that bush way out there, which if that's in my way, I've got bigger problems than this hole. So let's give it a rip. Oh yeah, stands up and just rides and then finishes out. I think that went pretty far. We have U-disc open on the phone. We're gonna check it when we get down to the disc. I would say that was somewhere around 70 to 80% power. I didn't really like rip it full power, but I got a pretty good oomph on it, you know? That was like pretty solid. I got pretty far, I think. Oh man, nice day out, fresh cut grass. The black-capped chickadees are doing their little song. I don't know if you can hear them, but man, it's just beautiful. Okay, we're at about 330 according to U-disc. Into a headwind, pretty good. I'd say this thing in less of a headwind, maybe on like a little bit more power of a shot, easily can get to 350. I'm pretty happy with that, man. This disc is pretty good. And already, now that I'm starting to get used to it, it warmed up a little bit. I think it's kind of flipping up a little more. It definitely doesn't like turn and ride like most of my hexes do, especially after I've thrown them for a while. But I'd say it's pretty similar to like an Eclipse hex, just fresh. You know, it should be like a little easy. I think it's like 150 in here, a little chip forehand, but I am throwing the hex. And I'm not known to throw hexes forehand, as you've seen in this video. Try and get up and down for an easy birdie, though. Go! Oh, I left it short. I have to make a putt. It can never just be easy, can it? It's always got to be something. A little 25, 30 footer to end the video. Why are you leaving him low? Oh my God, Tyler. It's easier with the premium plastic. My hands are a little muddy and dry. But man, that's such an easy putt. I gotta wipe these discs off. So there you have it. That's the Particle Glow Proton Hex right here. Man, it's such a pretty disc. It's definitely on the stable side, so it's gonna need a little bit more wear and tear until it goes in my bag. It's a little like flexible, so I'm gonna have it on the side to kind of use for some field work, maybe for some like practice rounds, but definitely sticking with the Eclipse 2.0 that I have in my bag, as I'm really comfortable with them right now. But it's really pretty. It feels really good. Every throw with it felt awesome. It did exactly what I wanted it to on like pretty much every single throw, especially when I had some room to just kind of rip on it. It just held straight and just pushed so easily. Didn't really have to think about it too much. This is easily one of the prettiest discs I've ever owned. I'm a huge fan of it. If you want to get one, go to otbdisc.com. Use code Sunshine at checkout. I know they got a bunch of these for the OTB Open Champions Cup, whatever they're calling it. Yeah, this disc is sweet. Get yourself one. I'll see you next time.